You're too sick to need it, Amanda said with a cruel laugh over the phone. I lay in my hospital bed, listening as her words cut deep. That money should go to someone who actually has a future. I looked at my phone and saw a notification from my banking app. $300,000 had been transferred from our family trust to an account I didn't recognize. My grandfather had set up that trust for both me and Amanda. It was supposed to be shared equally. My name is Olivia Parker. I'm 29 years old and fighting lymphoma, a serious type of cancer. While I was in the hospital, my sister-in-law, Amanda, saw an opportunity to steal my inheritance. You really think you can just take it all? I asked, keeping my voice calm even though I was furious. My IV drip made a steady beeping sound, helping me stay focused. It's already done, Amanda said smugly. Let's be honest, Olivia. You're stuck in that hospital bed and you probably won't make it. Why should the money go to waste? I glanced at my laptop. 3 months ago, I had emailed my family lawyer about this exact situation. Amanda had no idea that I had already taken steps to protect my share of the trust. I knew she had her eyes on that money for a long time. Well, good luck with that, I said before ending the call. Just then, my nurse Sarah walked in to check my vitals. She had been with me through 3 rounds of chemo and felt more like a friend now. Everything okay, honey? She asked. Just Amanda being Amanda, I replied with a small smile. Nothing I can't handle. And I meant it. Amanda had always been selfish and greedy. When I married her brother, David, she had tried to convince him that I was after the family's money. Now she was the one stealing. My phone buzzed again. This time it was David. Liv, what's going on? Amanda says she needed to use the trust fund for family emergencies. Put me on speaker, I said. I knew Amanda was right there with him. I want everyone to hear this. I heard some shuffling, then Amanda's voice in the background. She's just mad because I'm being practical. Practical? I laughed. You call stealing from a sick person practical. I didn't steal anything. Amanda snapped. The trust is for family, and I am family. Unlike you, I actually have plans for that money. Oh, I bet you do, I said, thinking about all the expensive bags and cars she had been posting on social media. But there's something you should know about that transfer you just made. What are you talking about? She asked, her tone suddenly unsure. Check your email. All of you. It should be arriving, right about now. I heard the sound of incoming emails, then silence. My lawyer was always on time. What is this? Amanda's voice had lost its confidence. That, I said, feeling satisfied, is a message from the Trust's Oversight Committee, the one I helped set up 3 months ago. Any unusual transfers have to be approved by all beneficiaries and the committee. If they aren't, they get reversed within 24 hours. More silence. Then David spoke. Liv, did you know she was going to do this? Let's just say I like to be prepared, I said, adjusting my pillow. Amanda isn't the first person to take advantage of a sick relative. This is ridiculous, Amanda shouted. I have rights to that money too. You have rights to your half, I corrected. But now your half is frozen while they investigate you for fraud. They don't take kindly to people trying to steal from cancer patients. I could hear Amanda stuttering, trying to come up with an excuse. Then David said, I'm coming to the hospital. We need to talk. Bring Amanda, I said. The hospital's legal team would love to meet her. They're very interested in cases of financial abuse. You wouldn't dare, Amanda hissed. Try me. I ended the call and looked up. Sarah was smirking as she adjusted my medication. Remind me never to get on your bad side, she joked. I smiled and leaned back against my pillows. Amanda thought she had won, but she was about to learn a tough lesson. Sometimes the weakest-looking person is actually the strongest. My phone buzzed again. A text from Amanda. You're making a big mistake. Family should stick together. I chuckled, thinking about all the proof my lawyer had gathered, all the hospital staff who had overheard Amanda's cruel comments. She had no idea what was coming. You're right, I texted back. Family should stick together. Remember that when you explained why you tried to steal from me. Then I turned off my phone, closed my eyes, and saved my energy. Amanda thought she had won when she saw that money transfer. But she was about to find out that I had been planning for this moment all along. The afternoon sun streamed through my hospital window. In a few hours, Amanda would show up, probably with some excuse. But it didn't matter. I had proof, witnesses, and a plan. Sarah walked back in with my evening meds. David just called. They're on their way. I nodded, feeling stronger than I had in weeks. Sometimes the best medicine isn't what's in an IV drip, it's watching justice happen exactly as you planned. The sharp clicking of high heels echoed in the hallway before Amanda even stepped into my hospital room. She burst in like she owned the place, with David right behind her, looking both worried and embarrassed. "What did you do?" she demanded, waving her phone at me. The transfer was reversed, and now I'm getting emails about fraud investigations. I took my time adjusting my hospital bed to sit up, letting her stew in her anger. Sarah, my nurse, stood by the door, clipboard in hand, officially checking my vitals. But really, she was here as a witness. We planned this part carefully. "I didn't do anything, Amanda," I said calmly. "The system worked exactly as it should to stop theft." "It's not theft," she snapped. "I'm a beneficiary of that trust, too." "Of your half," I reminded her. "Not all of it, and certainly not while telling me I'm too sick to need it anyway." David stepped forward, his face pale. "Did you really say that to her, Amanda?" "Oh," she said, much worse. I reached for my laptop. "Would you like to hear the recordings?" Amanda's face went from red with anger to pale with fear. "What recordings?" I turned the laptop toward them, showing audio files with date and timestamps. "Hospital policy," I explained. "All rooms have recording devices for patient safety, especially when there's a risk of abuse." "You recorded me?" Amanda's voice cracked. "That's illegal." Sarah stepped forward, calm but firm. "Actually, it's standard hospital procedure. There are signs on every door." She pointed to one near the entrance, which Amanda had clearly ignored. I pressed play. Amanda's voice filled the room. "Just die already. That money is wasted on you." The date showed it was from 2 weeks ago, during a visit where she had pretended to be concerned about me. David stumbled back, dropping into a chair. "My God, Amanda." "She's lying. She edited that," Amanda cried. "The hospital has the original files," Sarah said. "No one can change them." I pulled up another document. "And then there's this, your loan application from yesterday, where you used the stolen money as proof of assets. Were you planning to buy that beach house you've been talking about?" Amanda's expensive handbag slipped off her shoulder and hit the floor. "How did you?" "The trust committee checks for suspicious financial activity," I said. "Did you really think I wouldn't plan ahead?" Amanda's face twisted in frustration. "What future?" she spat. "You're dying anyway. That money could actually be useful instead of paying for treatments that probably won't even work." The room went silent. Even Amanda looked shocked at what she had just said. David stood up slowly, moving away from her. "Sarah," I said quietly, "please make a note of that statement in my patient record." The legal team asked for documentation of any threats. "Already done," Sarah replied, tapping her tablet. "This is ridiculous." Amanda tried to backtrack. "I was just being practical. The family needs." "The family needs?" I cut her off. "You mean how you've been lying to everyone, saying I'm too sick to handle my own affairs, how you planned this for months, thinking I'd be too weak to stop you?" I pulled up another set of emails, ones where Amanda told family members she was taking control of the trust because I wouldn't be around much longer. "You really thought no one would show me these?" I asked, watching panic creep into her face. "I was protecting the family assets," she insisted, but her voice shook. "No," David said firmly. "You were stealing from my wife while she fought for her life. What kind of person does that?" Amanda turned to him desperately. "She turned you against me, your own sister." "You turned me against you," he said. "I just didn't see it until now." I took out one last document. "The trust committee is meeting tomorrow. Given the evidence, your unauthorized transfer, the threats, the fraudulent loan, they're recommending that you be completely removed as a beneficiary." "You can't do that." Amanda took a shaky step back. "Grandfather left that money to both of us." "With conditions," I reminded her, one of which says that trying to harm or steal from another beneficiary is grounds for removal. Sarah cleared her throat. "Miss Parker needs her rest, and hospital security is waiting outside if needed." Amanda looked around wildly, realizing she was trapped. "This isn't over," she snarled, grabbing her fallen bag. "You think you're so clever, lying there, playing the victim." "Security," Sarah called out. 2 uniformed officers appeared in the doorway. Ms. Amanda Wilson was just leaving. "Please escort her out of the building." As Amanda was led away, her angry protests faded down the hall. David stayed behind, looking heartbroken. "Liv, I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I had no idea." "I know," I said, squeezing his hand. "That's why I didn't tell you my plan. You needed to see it for yourself." He swallowed hard, guilt in his eyes. "The things she said about you dying." "Hey," I gave him a small smile. "I'm not going anywhere. The treatment is working. My numbers are improving every week." Sarah nodded. "She's one of our strongest patients, and now that the stress of this situation is over." My phone buzzed. An email from the trust committee confirmed tomorrow's emergency meeting. Amanda's fate would be decided soon, but I already knew the real damage was done. Some family bonds, once broken by greed, can never be fixed. "What happens now?" David asked. I glanced at my laptop, at all the proof I had gathered over months of chemo and hospital stays. "Now," I said, "now we let justice take its course. And maybe, just maybe, Amanda will finally learn that being family doesn't mean you get to destroy someone else's life." Sarah adjusted my IV as the sun set outside, casting a warm glow over the room. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but for now, I had one. Amanda had underestimated me. She thought illness made me weak, but she was about to learn a hard lesson. Sometimes the sickest person in the room is also the smartest. The trust committee held their meeting online, so I joined from my hospital room. David had brought me a large tablet, and I watched Amanda's face as they showed one piece of evidence after another. "Ms. Wilson," the committee chair said firmly, "can you explain why you tried to move the entire $300,000 trust fund into your personal account?" "I was protecting the family's interests," Amanda said quickly, but her usual confidence was fading. "Olivia is very sick, and I thought—" "You thought what?" Another member interrupted. "That her illness gave you the right to take her money. We have recordings of you saying you were just waiting for her to die." Amanda's face turned pale as they played the recordings. Her eyes darted around, looking for a way out. But there was none. "The facts are clear," the chair continued. "You tried multiple times to take the full trust, made threats against a vulnerable patient, and submitted a fraudulent loan application using money that wasn't yours. She's manipulating everything," Amanda shouted, growing desperate. "She just wants to cut me out of my inheritance." The chair's voice turned cold. "Ms. Wilson, the hospital's security system is tamper-proof. Are you accusing a major hospital of fraud?" David sat beside me, holding my hand as we watched his sister fall apart. Sarah stood nearby, ready in case the stress affected my health. The committee made their decision. Amanda was officially removed from the trust. Her share was frozen while authorities investigated possible criminal charges. The look on her face showed the exact moment she realized what she had lost. Not just the money, but her reputation, her credibility, and her family's trust. "This is all your fault," she screamed at me through the screen. "You set me up." "No, Amanda," I said calmly. "You did this to yourself. I just made sure everyone saw the truth." When the meeting ended, my phone buzzed with messages from family members. Many had watched the hearing and now knew what Amanda was really like. The perfect image she had built for years had collapsed in less than an hour. "The police want to question her about the loan," David said, reading an email. "They're calling it attempted bank fraud." I squeezed his hand. "I'm sorry it had to come to this." He shook his head. "Don't be. I needed to see who my sister really was." A week later, I got amazing news. My latest test results showed the treatment was working even better than expected. When Sarah told me, I couldn't help but think about how wrong Amanda had been. "Your recovery is impressive," Sarah said with a smile. "Guess all that stress relief helped." I later heard Amanda had run off to another state, hiding at a friend's house. The loan company was pressing charges, and family members were coming forward with stories of money she had borrowed and never paid back. David visited me every day, sharing updates with our family about my improving health. It was his way of undoing all the lies Amanda had told. 3 months later, I was discharged from the hospital. Standing outside in the sunlight, I felt different, stronger, not just physically, but mentally. Amanda had thought my illness made me weak. She never realized that battling cancer had given me the greatest lesson of all: never underestimate someone who refuses to give up. The trust fund was now fully in my name, safe from Amanda's greed. But I had gained something even more important: clarity. I now knew exactly who deserved to be part of my future. As David drove us home, I got one last email from Amanda. It was short and bitter. "I hope you're happy. You ruined everything." I thought about replying but knew she would never understand. She had destroyed herself. I simply deleted the email and turned to David. "Let's talk about our future," I said. "I think it's time we finally take that vacation." He smiled, knowing exactly what I meant. We were moving on, leaving Amanda's darkness behind. Sarah had said it best on my last day in a hospital. People think illness makes you weak, but they forget. Those who fight the hardest battles become the strongest. Amanda had looked at me and seen someone fragile. She never realized that I had become unbreakable.